Hello everyone, it's Cam, welcome to another video. Today I'm going to do something a bit different here. Today I'm going to go over a CD box set which I have not yet shown on the channel, but this will be shown in the next vinyl update. Now this is a CD box set which is quite rare. Don't know if anyone really knows or here has heard about this box set, but it's this one. It's called the legendary Roy Orbison, which was released in 1990. So in this video I'm going to go over the content in here, what you get, the book and all the 4 CDs. So I'm going to explain it. So this box set came out in 1990, was an American release via CBS Special Product, and it basically goes over all of Roy's career. I'd known about this box set for some time, but I hadn't picked up a copy, or just never thought about getting it, or never got around to getting it, but I recently found it on eBay for about £15, which was quite good for the value. So yeah, I'm going to go over the content and what songs are on here. This box set, as I say. There are some differences in mixes in some songs, which kind of what drew me to this box set when I kind of found out about this this box set, and so I thought, oh yeah, I might get that. So I did, and just go over straight. Here's the front. It says at the front there, 4 compact discs and 36-page booklet. And there's another picture down there at the bottom. Quite like that picture of Roy. Side, it's a nice kind of long box. I think you can also get this one like a standard CD box up, like a slip package cover, and the 4 CDs are in like that package. But this is what I quite like. It's almost kind of similar set to this Tom Petty box set called Playback. If I just put the 2 spines together, they're both very similar size, except they're just packaged a bit differently. Because this one, you take the lid off and it opens. This one you have to kind of open it like that, and it opens. So yeah. Anyway, so at the back, all the songs there. As I say, this covers his whole career. Not on everything, because there are still some songs that are not on here, but nonetheless, it almost goes over his whole career and kind of back catalogue a bit in a way. So open it up like this. Here's the booklet. I'll just show in a minute. But the 4 CDs are you kind of like have the first 2 are in this top bit, and the other ones are in the bottom bit. So that's what I probably should have said before I pulled it out to show. So anyway, I'm going to start with the booklet. Nice picture of Roy in the front with like an acoustic guitar. Back, just same back cover picture. There's some liner notes and some pictures which I've never seen before. Some which I've not seen before, so we'll get to them in a minute. That's a nice picture of him and Carl Perkins. That's a very famous photograph from like the last concert that Roy did a couple of nights before he died. That's a picture that's been seen kind of many times in different things, either in books or like albums, stuff like that. Yeah, it's quite a infamous photograph to say the least. Well, not infamous, but it's well known in the Orbison fandom. That's a nice one that I've never seen before, which I really quite like. I think that might be from the set of a television show or something like that. Here's some nice pictures of Roy's house, Roy in his home, which I've never seen before. Some nice pictures of the singles there and whatnot, which is always quite cool to see. That's another nice one that I've never seen before. That's a great one of him and Bruce Springsteen at the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame in 1987, which of course when Roy was inducted into the Hall of Fame. That's a great one, another great one of him and Bruce there. That's Roy and his wife Barbara. It's quite a funny, unusual, cool picture with him with that very unusual guitar there. And all the credits at the back. So there's that one. Here's the first volume. This is volume 1. Nice picture in the front cover. I think that's from a television show or something like that. Again, back cover. So in the first volume, this goes over the Sun era and then up to the first big Monument hits. So we get Trying to Get to You, which Elvis Presley also recorded. Ooby Dooby, his first Sun hit. Go Go Go, the first song he ever wrote, which was the B-side of Ooby Dooby, and also came on Move On Down the Line in later years in his live shows. Rockhouse, You're My Baby, which was written to him by Johnny Cash. Devil Doll, and Claudette, which was a song that he'd later give to the Everly Brothers. One called Seems to Me, which I think was unreleased at the time. Sweet and Innocent, which I think are from the RCA records, because Roy did 2 singles for RCA and that kind of fell through because he didn't really have any hits there. Sweet and Innocent, Almost 18, Jolie, which was again RCA. I'll Never Tell, I don't know where that one's from. Now we get into the Monument period with The Bug, Paperboy, his first Monument single, Uptown, Pretty One, Only the Lonely, Here Comes That Song Again, and Blue Angel. So we kind of finish off at the Monument period. Roy's becoming well known. And I think there's some songs that have been done, transferred from a mono source, which was probably the best that they had at the time, really. You don't get a book with these CDs, but that big book I think kind of, makes up for it again. And this was mastered by a guy called Ken Robertson, and compilation producer was Nick Shaffron. We have volume 2, picking up from the first volume. This one, we kind of continue with Today's Teardrops, I'm Hurting, I Can't Stop Loving You, Running Scared, Love Hurts, Crying, Candyman, Dream Baby, The Actress, one of my favourite B-side ones. The Crowd, Mama, Working for the Man, Leah, In Dreams, one of his best, Shadaroba, Falling, Distant Drums. I really like his version of that song, which I think Jim Reeves late did as well. Blue Bayou, one of his best as well, and Mean Woman Blues. So that's volume 2. That's quite a nice picture of the front there as well. So that's the first 2 volumes. Volume 3. Again, a nice cover shot. So we get Pretty Paper, which is his Christmas single from 1963. Beautiful Dreamer. It's Over. Great one there. Indian Wedding, Oh Pretty Woman, and this version is the original mono single version, because there are 2 different mixes of Pretty Woman. There's I think the mono and stereo obviously, but there's the different versions. One of them, I think the mono version has come to, one of the versions, I think the stereo mix, the more common one, has Come To Me Baby, and I think there's one version that's the mono version that has Come With Me Baby. It'll vary in what compilation you get, but I think some versions have that version with that line in. Then we get Yo Te Amo Maria, Good Night, Only With You, Say You're My Girl, Sleepy Hollow, Let the Good Times Roll, Lana, and Summer Song, which were both from the album Crying in 1962, but in 1966, after Roy had left the label, they put it on as a single. Then we get the later Monument stuff on here from the Regeneration album in 76, Belinda, No Chain at All, I'm a Southern Man, Born to Love Me, Drifting Away, and Under Suspicion. I have no idea what the sound quality is like, because I've yet to really play this, but it should hopefully be, as good as it can get. Because I know this was probably not the era of CDs, the era of digital, so this is probably volume 4 now. So we get into the MGM, and there's some Monument, and there's some later songs on here as well. We have Ride Away, Crawling Back, Breaking Up Is Breaking My Heart, Cry Softly Lonely One, and this is one of the reasons that this box set's kind of worth picking up, because this has the original single version of Cry Softly Lonely One, not the album version. The single version has a different lyric. The single version, Roy sings "From this moment on, don't cry all alone," but on the more common album version, you hear Roy sing "Don't cry all along, baby, from now on," which is almost an ode or reference to his hit Crying, a bit. Then we get Born on the Wind, which is seen to be an unreleased version, which I heard on a compilation on the London label in 1964. A 1964 compilation on the London album called Oh Pretty Woman, which London put together in the kind of, to capitalise on the success of that song. And it has a different vocal near the end of the song. Then we have but I think the Americans, because as I say, this is an American set, probably wouldn't have got that version on the more of Roy Orbison's Greatest Hits album in 1964, because Born on the Wind was a single in this country, in the UK, but not in America for some reason. Then we get the German version of Mama, and the German version of San Fernando, which at the time were not available on CD in any form, I don't think, so this was the first time we got them. And then San Fernando, as I say, the German version of Shadaroba. Then we get They Call You Gigolette, which is an unreleased version, and this is in a completely different key and a bit of a different arrangement. Still got a similar arrangement. It starts with a violin, and then Roy sings the song, and instead of it going the dun 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 on the album In Dreams in 1963, it has a violin start the song, and then Roy starts singing, and it kind of similar to the song, but just in a different key. And I think I kind of like the original version a bit more than this one, to be honest. But this is still pretty good and pretty interesting to have. And I think this is the only way you can get that version. Then we get Dance, which is a song from Crying in 1962 album. But this is a different version that was released on the Orbison's album in 1965. Then we get Can't Wait from Regeneration. A few tracks from Regeneration next. Can't Wait, I Don't Really Want You, and Something They Can't Take Away. So almost the full Regeneration album, bar except for Blues in My Mind and Old Love Songs. So we almost get the full Regeneration album on there, except those two songs. Indian Summer, which is something that Roy did with Larry Gatlin and the Gatlin Brothers. I don't have that song anywhere else in any format, so again, this is good that it's on here. The Fastest Guitar Alive from the film of the same name. So Young, MGM single. Zigzag, which I think was an MGM song that has not been out anywhere else, but I think it's out on some other Roy compilation albums as well. It Takes All Kind of People, which is from the Moonshine War, but also in the album Roy Orbison Sings. And then Wild Hearts Run Out of Time from the film Insignificance, but also a single in 1985. So that's that video. Is this worth getting? Well, maybe not so much now, because we have had a few releases, but at the time this would have been a really great set to get, because a lot of the rarer Orbison stuff was not yet out on CD at that point. Some of the MGM material wasn't available, and again, as I say, that in America, because this is American rules, this would have been a good set at the time to pick up, because there are different various Orbison compilations from different countries, which I have, and I kind of feel, well, I'm a collector and I like to have some of these rarer stuff, so yeah. And it's kind of worth picking up because it's the only way you can get the Cry Softly Lonely One single version, unless you pick up an original 45 of that song. And it's also worth having because of the different version of They Call You Gigolette and the version of Dance, which I don't think is available anywhere else apart from the Orbison's LP, if you can pick that up. But apart from that, this is a pretty good box set, and it's quite nice. It's got the original price sticker on it from HMV for $59.99, £60. I got mine for $15 and £4 postage, so almost kind of £41 less than what it was originally priced at. But it's actually kind of a nice little piece of history from the time, the original price sticker, which is quite interesting. So anyway, hope you all enjoyed this video. Like, comment, subscribe if you have this box set, and I hope to give a bit of a listen to it at some point, and maybe talk about it in a proper video and do a proper review on it at some point. But I kind of felt I wanted to show it on the channel. So anyway, like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you again for the next video.